Welcome to Lesson 7 in Unit 12, Exploring Earth. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how can we use our resources to build a tool? In this lesson, students define a simple problem explorers may encounter and then design and build a tool that can help solve this problem. Students figure out that different materials work best for different jobs, and they make connections to the storyline by comparing the tools they created to the tools used by early explorers. There are several opportunities for ELA cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard connections in the Unit 12 Teacher Guide. This lesson will take approximately 4 to 5 days to complete. To start the Lesson 7 Engage, you'll ask students about the tools explorers used to survive and what we use today. You'll then show students a tray filled with sand and the set of objects in it from the kit. You'll tell them that they'll be designing tools to get the objects out of the sand. You'll review the criteria and constraints with them. You'll revisit the driving question board to add new questions and highlight those related to the learning goals of this lesson, focusing on questions about how to build the tools and what materials are best for digging in the sand. For the Explorer, you'll go over the materials that students will get for tool building. You'll put students into pairs or groups and direct them to the Explorer's Tool Student Journal page. They'll also refer to the Scientific Drawing Rubric Student Journal page to support them in sketching their tool. Once students have chosen their best idea, they should come to you to get materials to begin building their tool. There is a tutorial with directions for the activity and example tools. For the Explain portion, you'll show students the engineering design cycle and discuss testing the tools they built. Groups will use the Tool Data Student Journal page to record their results. Students will follow the procedure outlined in the teacher tutorial. You'll record the testing results for all groups on the class data chart. For the Elaborate portion, you'll discuss how the next step in the engineering design cycle is to communicate results. After discussing the class data chart, you'll have students record their thoughts on the first two sections of the Tool Data Student Journal page. And for the Evaluate, you'll use the Unit 12 Summative Performance rubric to evaluate the tools. You'll then have a discussion to review what students have learned about maps, landforms, bodies of water, and the materials early explorers used. The goal of this class discussion is for teams to revisit the learning throughout the unit and to wrap up the unit. To support student sense-making, orient them back to the driving question board. Ask, did we answer any of the questions on our driving question board? And are there any questions we haven't answered? Try to wrap up any final questions on the driving question board before the end of the unit. Be sure to see the noted opportunity to attend to equity. Ensure students use the self-check form to evaluate their learning in this section. This tool encourages reflection on their engagement and science identities. By the end of this lesson, students will have defined a simple problem that can be solved through the development of a new or improved tool, and used materials to design a device that solves a specific problem. For the optional Extend, you can have students go to Step 7 of the engineering design cycle. You can give them more materials and allow them to redesign, build, and test a new prototype. For more information about this unit, visit myscipartners.com.